Just liars. Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm a little late. I had to go to the eye doctor, and very uncomfortable. He took a stitch out of my eyeball. And then he wanted to show me
Battery
pictures of
60%.
my eyeball. I said, I
Connected
don't need
to
to see.
Phil's iPhone.
The whole thing was an insult to my life. Sorry for all the noise. Just want to make sure I have if I need it, a place to put my data. So rail is 30 cents. I continue to think, although the chart looks like it's going to need a little time to look exciting again, I do admit that. It doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look, doesn't look like it's in the verge of a big breakout. On the other hand, I'm looking at a very small chart and I can barely see. But Railtown is still the same story. You've got it behind the backdrop of, is the market in a bubble as far as AI companies are concerned? Maybe. And how do you, I don't know how to protect against that bubble popping at some point. My own view is the market's not finished with its idiocy to the upside. You're going to get extreme overvaluations, in my opinion. On the other hand, if the bond market gives up the ghost, you can throw all the projections out the window. The ECB just lowered interest rates. So what does that mean? It means their currencies are going to go down, down, down while the dollar is strong. However, Donald Trump wants interest rates down here. So is that going to prevail? And my guess is ultimately, in order to afford our debt, we're going to get lower interest rates. I would hope that the dollar stays strong so we can buy Greenland, pay for the Panama Canal, and annex Canada. I say that tongue in cheek, but I also think there's a certain boldness to Trump's ideas, which could be a mechanism to get the United States out of trouble. I read yesterday, and I have to find the article. I'll show it to you if I can remember where it is. Worldwide government debt globally, $98 trillion. I don't remember off the top of my head what worldwide GDP is, but I think it's 50 trillion or it's 35 trillion. Anyway, how much longer are people going to take this debt at 0% or at 4%? I don't know. That's going to be the thing. I started to read this to you yesterday. I don't know if you can, if this camera will focus on that. I do not think this is what's going to happen to the US dollar exclusively. But in August of 1914, $1 bought, this is in 1914, $1 bought 4 marks, 4.19 marks. In December of that year, 1914, $1 bought 4.5 marks. In December of 1915, $1 bought 5 marks 16. In December of 1916, $1 bought 5 marks 72. December of 1917, I think that was the beginning of the Soviet Union, or it was the October Revolution anyway, $5.67. In 1918, in November, $1 was worth 7.4 marks. In 1919, they have a whole list. I'll just go to the end of the year. They have month after month after month after month. But by the end of the year in 1919, $1 bought 150 marks. In 1922, sorry, I'm wrong about that. 1919, they only go to June. So in 1919, $1 bought 14 marks. In 1920, they also only go to June. $1 bought 39 marks. In 1921, in October of 1921, $1 bought 150 marks. In 1922, going to December, $1 bought 7,589 marks. This is in 1922. In 1923, they give month by month, but let's just go to the end of the year. Oh my gosh. In 1923, in December of 1923, $1 bought 4,200,000,000,000 marks. That's what's going to happen to paper currency. And a lot of the things that the German government did, fighting, there was then the right wingers and the left wingers and all that, all the fighting, and it's happening here. Not anywhere near as dramatically, but a lot of the measures were taken then. For example, they started chopping the size of government. Well, okay. But does that really get to the problem? The problem is confidence. Problem is, do we grow quickly enough in hard currency to pay off our debts? Right now, we're a hard currency, but how much longer? So anyway, getting back to Railtown and the rest of our stocks, I still expect the stock market to have this huge speculative rally. But what could kill it is the bond market. So we have to be ever vigilant on that. I live in Washington, D.C. I have flown those American regional jets, United regional jets, Delta regional jets. And last night I said prayers, and I'll say prayers again. What a horrible thing to be landing and get hit and die. My understanding is, there's some accusations against the Biden government for allowing flights at the same level. I have no idea if that's true. There's been accusations against the controller for not being more specific. There's questions even, was this intentional, which I think that's probably too extreme. it's a very complex thing, landing aircrafts, and people make bad judgments. At the end of the day, though, I pray for the Russian and American figure skating team, and I just pray all those people, whatever their sins, were immediately accepted into heaven because of the horror of their death. And then what else? I've listened a little bit to RFK. I think he's been amazing. I'm horrified at my party, the Democratic Party, how they put out something that's false. Kennedy answers it, and then they go back to it being false. This is, by the way, this happened in Germany, in the Weimar Republic. That if you're really about the science, science is a fickle companion. Or I should say, scientific conclusions are fickle. Science, in and of itself, is no more than we take this set of observations and we reach this conclusion. Sometimes we use Occam's razor, whatever's the simplest. Sometimes we make it complicated and we say the earth is the center of the universe based on all the evidence we have. But then that same science later on first proved that the sun might be the center of the universe, then proved that maybe the universe was much bigger, but the stars were fixed, or the stars were somehow stationary vis-a-vis everything else. And then along came Hubbard, and his science showed that the planets and the stars in the distance were actually moving outward. So, and now the science of the JST telescope, I forget the name of that, is peering back to the Big Bang, and they found at least 6 universes which exist, which are mature at the time of the Big Bang. So science is always a matter of a proposition. Let's test it and let's see what comes. And so for Bernie Sanders to say the studies are out there, that's not science. Okay, studies are out there. I mean, there's studies out there that say anyway, here's him. All right, you're live.
Are you home?
Yeah, I'm home. You're live.
All right, let's go. Everyone, okay, I'm not here to brag. I don't give a shit, but K&W, I'm going to brag then. K&W was 90 cents. They did the deal with Lynn. I posted every day to alert you about what Lynn does, okay? And if anyone doesn't been following me, I have nothing against the company. I have nothing against the shareholders. I wish them the greatest success ever. But when you sign those debt spiral notes, the debt spiral note means death. And exactly what happened to those shareholders. The stock hit a low at 2 cents. Today it's 7. And the company got kicked off the exchange, was delisted. And you know what? It's on its way backwards. It's the next thing they're going to do is they're going to have to reverse. They're never going to get out of the hole here. You know, it's 5 million shares traded today. Lynn finally achieved what they wanted to do, and it was in living color for everyone to see. Okay, if you didn't see the murder, then you're blind. Okay, The police should be sitting here locking these guys up for what they did. I reported it in real time for everybody. GMGI, unfortunately, it has the same crew, the same people. They'll be next on the list, and they'll get wiped out also. I know it's $2. There's a lot of meat on the bone there yet. If you're a naked short seller, go help yourself. All right, these guys will get wiped out. So that's what they do. They're here to steal all your money, and then they send it to the guy, Mr. Hancock in Australia, one of the richest people in Australia, thanks to him looting everybody in the U.S. That's just what's going on, and then we report it. Again, I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm here to warn you about what was going on, and that's what I've done. All right, and it's right on the nose. It's 100% right there. You could see it yourself, and you can see it yourself, and that's all you can. What else can I say? It's just what it is.
What's the new symbol?
KNWN, like in Nancy. I think the N stands for nothing.
A known.
The N stands for nothing left. I don't know what it means. I have no idea.
Hey, it's 8 cents. And I'm sure that's a sign it's going higher.
Yeah. Stay away from it. Don't look at
Any CEO that does business with Jeff Easton should be castrated if that CEO's a man.
Well, that's why I think that GMGI is, they got something's fishy about that one. Because they knew what KNW was going through, then they slapped that up right behind it. And I think that's exactly what happened next. These guys just got destroyed. And GMGI, 8 cents or 10 cents for making a new 52-week low also. So, they all have the same pattern. They all have the same look. I wish I could say something else, but it's, right there, and you can all see it yourself. All right, so I don't want to spend any more time on it. They got wiped out. We told you they were going to get wiped out, and that's what happened to it. It's easy to see. GMGI is next up at the plate. Let's see how they do. Remember, Jeff Easton is up 220%. Everyone else is just wiped off the planet, but they're up 220%. I can't explain how that could happen other than security fraud, which is what I believe which is really happening. But the government, I copied Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, the SEC, the FBI, the DOJ, whatever. And I don't understand how these guys are still walking around. They just basically stole everybody's money. They make more money with a flop than they do with a hit. It's the movie The Producers, where they sell 1,000%. Hopefully it goes out of business and they keep all the money. That's what they do. Moving on to finger motion. I posted, William, while you were walking home about the company. There was someone offering 36,000 shares of stock for sale. Someone offered 36,000 shares of stock for sale at $1.27, whatever the number was. I posted, I copied it, and I told everyone that they will wash the trade. A minute and a half later, they washed the 36,000 shares. The volume went from 114 at 36,000, whatever, it went to 150, went over 152, whatever it was. It's obvious. Anyone who's got 36,000 shares of this stock understands what's going on by now. And to race to sell it, I don't believe anyone is racing to sell it. I think that if you wanted to sell it and you have 36,000, you're better off selling, 100 shares at a clip, 200 shares at a clip, doing it that way. That's what I would do. If you want to get out, tiptoe out. Don't run. Don't be like a gangbuster trying to get out and, lose all your money because of Jeff Easton. Take your time, dribble out of it a little at a time. You'll be better off. It'll help you out. All right. These guys are pure criminals. Pure criminals. William, I also posted this other stock that I purchased. I told everyone I did it. I bought this GBUX. There is a short seller in this name that is desperately trapped. It's a small short. It's not a 200 million share short. Somewhere 400, 500,000 shares. I've been reporting on it. I don't really want to report on it, but it's so blatantly obvious. I have to tell you what I see because I can't stand watching these criminals thinking that no one's going to report them. The other day, someone sold 5,000 at the market from $1.40. They sold it down to 90 cents. The stock bounced back up. The next day, they sold 7,000 shares at the market, trying to knock it down again. And as you can see, the volume is picking up because people are buying it. Obviously, this thing is the worst starting to get around on this stock. And I'm just laughing that these guys, they do it to any company every day. It doesn't make a difference. They just keep coming after you like it's no big deal. It's just remarkable.
It is no big deal. Nobody's going to enforce it. And
right.
They're, 90 out of 91 stocks, they're going to win. And even when they lose, they win because they get Stevie Cohen to bail out that capital firm, Merlin Capital. Merlin.
Right. I personally think the big boys like Stevie Cohen are moved to the sideline in this game. Stevie's a smart guy. If you don't know him, he's a smart guy. He knows when the shit's going to hit the fan. He knows when the feds are coming. He's not that stupid. All right. So for him to be you thinking that he's playing games here, I seriously doubt it anymore. That doesn't mean there's someone who's like him playing or funding it, like the Anson Fund. Those guys are kamikazes and they belong in jail. They'll fund and steal anything. But a guy like Stevie Cohen, I don't believe that they're doing it. I don't believe it. They may have done it before, but I don't believe he's doing it anymore. Stevie used to hire traders and fund you and let you operate and do whatever you wanted. When you're up 100%, Stevie gets 60, you get 40. He laid out the money. He asked no questions. You look the other way, and that's what he got charged with: looking the other way and not really paying attention to what his customers or his clients were doing. All right, so I don't believe it's guys like him. I think it's renegade guys like the Anson Fund, people like that. That's who I think those are the guys that are naked shorting. Most of them are guys who are offshore doing it. I think that's what you're going to see. But I'm just sick and tired of all these people who are doing this stuff and they just get away with it. It's just remarkable. People don't pay attention. These guys are criminals and they don't pay attention to anything they're doing. Hold on a second, William. Just backing my car up.
It's all right.
Thank you. Fucking asshole.
That's not very nice.
Huh?
It's not very nice. That guy gave you his space.
You didn't hear that, did you?
We heard it.
I was trying to park before a woman walked right behind the car. And in my car, when you go backwards and there's someone there, the car brakes by itself. I had no idea she was even there. She just jumped out and decided to walk behind that guy.
Now we know what you're really like.
Parallel parking, and she jumps in front of it. I mean, if she was a short seller, I would just continue to run her over. But if she wasn't, so I saved her. Anyway, so is there any questions about what's happening here?
I'm going to have they dropped stuff in my eyes. I'm going to have a hard time reading it, but I'll try to see. Ricky says ZJ. Oh, I know what I can do. I can click on them. ZJYL chart looks good, which I just looked at. You might be right. Kitties never die.
Listen, I haven't been contacted or any update on it, but ZJYL has each day, the naked short number is over 60-something% every day, and it's been high as 70-something% the other day. I mean, it's really obvious what they're doing there. But
right.
I think the people that are smart enough that were in that name will come back and we'll go after those guys in due time. I just don't know when.
So Kitties Never Die is a pilot and suggests or says it's pretty clear the helicopter pilot failed to maintain visual separation. Yeah, that makes some sense. I'm not a pilot. What a tough job. What a tough job. Mostly boring, and then your life's over.
It's disgusting, and you know what? I keep trying to tell people, listen, the naked short selling game is a scumbag game. It will ruin your life. It'll consume you. If you cannot handle it, please move to the sideline. You don't need to be around it. It'll just break your heart all the time. And when it goes, and you're in that state of mind, guess what you do? You bail out because you're afraid, and all this time that you waste when the stock screams, you bail out, and you basically never really make the big money because you know why? Because it's got you upside down. It's a tough game.
Paulie V says it was an absolute pleasure speaking to you, Ham, and to Mark when you spoke with him and with Mark yesterday. You made my year. Thank you for all you do and the hours of education.
For those who don't know, I bumped into a shareholder walking through a lot, speaking to William on a phone on the conference call. The guy yells 25 feet away from me. He goes, Ham? I looked at him, I'm like, what? He said he knew by my voice, which I find amazing because I don't really think I have a voice that anybody would know. Like, who's the guy's voices that does all those great ads all the time? The black gentleman, I forgot his name.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, the guy who does what's the Arby's, the beef. He's got that deep voice.
That
I don't
guy,
have a voice like. I don't have a voice like that. I just, just a scratchy. I don't know. I sound like a weasel. I don't know. I don't think I have a very good voice. But anyway, it was very nice. I met the gentleman. He was from Boston, really nice guy, and he put me on. He tried to reach his friends, and the only guy that picked up was Paulie. And just so you understand, his buddy said to him, "I'm standing with Ham," and the guy said, "There's no fucking way." I'm listening to him. William, Paulie said, "There's no fucking way." I'm listening to him with William right now.
Paulie thought this is a professional show. They didn't realize you do it from the side of the pickle court or wherever the hell.
So he was very funny when I got on because he couldn't believe it. I said, "No, William, I hung up on him."
Yeah, I don't need him.
I had someone else call me up because, I guess it was true. You hung up on William in the middle of it. And you said you saw a shareholder in the parking lot. I said it was true. But yeah, great gentleman. I brought him up to speed. They thanked me for educating them on it. Again, I said the same thing. It's a scumbag game. These guys are motherfuckers. They deserve to go to jail for life. They're all shitheads. They're all hiding behind their computers offshore. And they, these Lynn partners, you just watch them do it. You can say whatever you like. These guys 100% wiped out a public company right in front of your eyes.
KNW?
Wiped them out.
Yeah.
The company will have to lay people off. They'll have to issue stock. They'll have to do all this stuff because of what Lynn wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's it. Lynn wanted to steal. They're the victim. They robbed them. They told them they were coming, and no one stopped them. We tried our best to protect the shareholders, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
They're not getting us in finger. They can play all the fucking games they want. They could do the washing. We're pointing it out. They're going down. I don't give a shit. I'll stay here for another 5 years. They're not going anywhere. They're trapped. They're going to go bust, and they're going to go to jail for losing billions of dollars. Jeffrey's their prime broker, Morgan Lewis their attorney. And just for you guys to know, yesterday we learned that William told us that Morgan Lewis is their attorney. We're reaching out to our friend who is a senior partner there and letting them know what scumbag, douchebag, shitheads these guys are, and they should be kicked to the curb. And my guy is a senior partner. All right, we're going to let him know all the good stuff about Lynn. and kick those fucking guys out of that firm. That's what we're going to do. That's going to be their party gift there. Fuck you, scumbags.
Yeah.
Their law firm should be Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, not Morgan Lewis. But that's the game. You understand it now. How the SEC, DOJ, DTC, FINRA, all these regulatory bodies look the other way is truly amazing. Truly amazing. And all these bashes that come on, they never address what I just said. But instead they want to attack me or William or anybody else who's positive. All the proof, all the data is right there. Why would people want to cheer stocks to go down? Everybody's a loser. The company, the shareholders, everybody loses. The technology's wiped out, is stolen. Who wants to do that? That's why China's going to beat our ass, because they want things to work. In the U.S., we want to destroy everything, steal we allow people just to loot, steal. It's unbelievable. Look at the politicians fighting JFK, from the guy protecting your kids about all this shitty stuff in food. Why Americans are so fat? Because they're poisoning us. I got around that fat issue, William. I don't eat, so I'm pretty good.
You got what?
I don't eat. I just eat a bag of potato chips and a Coke. I'm good.
Yeah. You're starting to look like a bag of potato chips.
My wife says I got the shape. I look like Keith Richards and Mick Jagger now. I got that shape. But listen, again, any questions, William? Let's ask. Let's get through it.
Yeah, sorry, my eyesight is not.
Take your time. Take your time.
I went long finger March 4 calls. Well,
I agree. I'm a believer of buying it when they don't want it. If I had FU money, that's what I'd be doing. Listen, the 4 calls, the 3 calls, they got to be the same price. Pay 10. If it's 10 cents versus 5 cents, to buy the ones at a nickel and buy more of them. And I'll give you an example, William, for those who don't understand options. If you buy 50 calls, okay, 50 options of the 3s at a dime, it's $500, right? Your break even is $310. You got 50 calls. If you buy 100 of the 4s at a nickel for $500, granted, we need the stock to move a lot. So the 3 or the 4, they're both long shots, right? If the stock goes to 10, okay, and you own the 3s 50 times, you're going to make $7 at 35,000 minus your $500, right? You make 35,000 for $500. If you own 100 of the 4s, you're going to make $6 or 60,000 for the same $500. Do people understand that math? The cheaper calls, if you're looking for a major move, are the place to be. I'd rather have more of the 4s than the 5s. And they'll sit there, well, it goes into money, the 5s. If it goes into the money for the 3s, the 4s are going to triple. They're not going to be a nickel, they'll be 30 cents. In which case, you can always sell half of them and have half for free. Either way, you're going to win. If you're anticipating any stock to make a major move, that's what you have to do. As long as you understand the math. And just do that math. And that's how you play the option game. I'm not a believer in buying in the money calls. I don't like to do that. People go, oh, you make money if the stock's going up. If the stock goes up, the cheap options double too. If I buy a stock at 2 and it goes to 2.5, I'm going to make 50 cents. If the options double, I'll be up 100%. As long as you follow the math and understand it. What happens when a stock moves? What do you make? Just think about it. You want me to recap? I sold MLSS. I'm out of that one. DJT, I abused Devin Nunes like a cheap suit last night. I took every press release that he's ever made. I put it up there and said, Devin, Cash Patel, Pam Bondi, we need an update on this. What's going on? You yelled fraud. You yelled fire in a movie theater. What's going on? We need an update from your 15 press releases. And I just kept going. What about this one? Trump Truth Social says this. Short sellers, naked shorts, this one. He said it 17 times. Where's the update on it? Your stock came out with good news yesterday, popped $5. It's up $1.25 now, whatever it is. $1.60 from $30. It was up 5, it's up $1.60 now. Gave back $3.50 already. Finger motion this morning. I wrote down, William, I was on the phone with you. 58,000 traded at 9:30. They watched 58,000 on the first trade of the day. Then we just saw them do another 36,000. That's almost 100,000 already. It's traded 164. How many other small pieces is this that I don't know of? So let's say the real volume in the day is probably 40,000 out of 160. 40 out of 160. How's that for volume on the day? Most of it's all fake. And they do the same shit every day. And people go to me, stop them. How can I stop them? They're just making fake trades. I can't stop that. The only reason they're doing fake trades, they're trying to hide the mess and try to get you to panic to sell. That's it. Nothing else. There's no other reason. The company came out with a big contract. You're going to sell it on the company getting a big contract? Why? What's the reason? You're going to sell it? We all know the raw capital reports due any day. We all know it's something everyone's talking about. It's coming out. What do you think Roth's going to say? We're going to put $1.30 target if we just paid $1.50? You know that's not happening. Roth is probably going to come out with a target somewhere between $8 and $12. And when it comes out, the stock will jump and everybody's going to say, wow, I wish I would have known. I'm telling you it's coming out. The CEO told you it's coming out in the video. We're not making it up. It's right there. They paid $5 million. They paid stock. They bought stock at $1.50. You don't think they want to get it go higher for their clients? Of course they do. They can't go to their clients, their new clients, say, hey, we raised money for this company $1.50 and it's $1.20 now. We invest like Lynn. We're just losers. They won't have anybody go to them because they need to show their track record before they get a new client. Everyone's going to say, what's the last stock you did before I hire you as my banker? Oh, no, all our stocks have just been going down. We're like Lynn Partners. They're not going to do that. They want the stocks to go up because then they get more clients. Lynn Partners doesn't give a fuck if anybody knocks on the door again. They're just going to sell 50 million shares at 50 cents, drive it to a penny, and collect 50 minus the 2 cents and make 48 cents 50 million times. They don't care. Make $25 million. They don't care. Then send the money to Australia on vacation. And every shareholder in K&W today is getting a nice tax loss, which I posted on Twitter 50 fucking times. Anything else, William?
You have suggested that you think Finger will go to 1,700. If that were to happen, would it happen?
2,500. 2,500. Don't quote me as saying something I never said. I never said 1,700.
What's your number?
2,500.
Well, if that were to happen, would it take a day, few days, a week?
Fast. Go look at the short squeeze in Volkswagen and see the timeline on that. Hit short squeeze VW. Go look at the timeline, how fast it happens. If it wasn't going to be a fast squeeze, these guys would let the stock go up and sell it higher. They can't even let it. They won't even let it trade at $1.40. They're trying to push it down again. Listen, I say 2,500. Get out at $25 if you're nervous. It doesn't make a difference. Again, I want people to make money, but I don't want you to get crazy if you don't understand it. Once you're in the black, if you're nervous, move to the sideline. This game isn't for you. I'm sorry that it's going on, but we're trying to fight it, stop it. We call the police. We're calling out the president of the United States. I don't think we could do much more. I do think that once that guy Atkins is in, I think this shit's going to hit the fan.
Maybe you're right. I shouldn't laugh.
Yeah, and I think I wrote an email to the guy from Reuters saying that the Wall Street needs less regulations. Go read the FINRA report. Each one of them. Oh, we don't have a system in place to check for fraud. Every one of them. Oh, Morgan Stanley, we've been in business 100 years, but we don't have any systems in place to look for fraud. It's just amazing that these guys have all this history, all the money, Goldman Sachs, everybody, yet we don't have a system for that. We blame our system failures on the system. Not anybody, but the system.
Yeah. That's
the biggest disgrace. And I would love to be in a congressional hearing. So Goldman Sachs, you're worth, $50 billion. You have no money for technology to tell if anyone's committing fraud. You don't know what you're doing. How could you be in the brokerage business? The CEO just made $40 million. You can't determine how to find out fraud. Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, all these guys. Your back office people for allowing settlement failures that belong in jail.
All right, let me see if there's another one.
Mm-hmm.
I added finger shares today. What?
Good for you.
What call would you buy? Which month, week of DJT? DJT calls. What would you buy?
I would only buy. I like to buy, since tomorrow's Friday. I like the weekly calls. So if you wanted to do something like, if you wanted to buy them now, I don't know what the 35s are for tomorrow, or the 34s. If any of those options are 5 or 10 cents, the 33s, 34s, something like that, I would buy those. I know they're trash. I know you only got a day and a half to go. If the stock spikes, you can make a nice payday on it. I had a friend that bought the 31.5s at 50 cents. He sold them at 280. That was on the spike the other day. What I would really like to see is you buy those calls for next Friday, tomorrow at 4:00. If the stock is not doing anything, you can get the 34s, 35, all those options. The premium will come out of them again. It's really a premium thing with options. So if the stock's not doing anything today, all right, if it's not doing something today, what's his name? Pete from Philly posted that it's the end of the month, so you can see them trying to hold them down to mark it down. So it's the end of the month. These guys are trying to mark it down so they can get their pay. So if I was going to do DJT, since we don't have an exact timing on it, if Trump were to say something tonight, the stock can open up 50 tomorrow, and you got these options at 10 cents or a nickel. You really make a killing on it, because these are news. These are stocks that are based on, on news stocks. There's going to be news that's going to make these things explode. So if you wanted to, live on the edge, you wait till tomorrow around 3:30, 4:00. If DJT is 31.25.5, doing what it's doing, that means next week's options will start to crash down. I don't know what they're at, but the next week options, if the 34s are $1 today, they may be, 40 cents tomorrow with no movement. So the premium starts to come out of them. So again, way to be in the game for a day is just buy some, buy 5 calls at a nickel for $25. What's the difference? It's like 500 shares.
Do you think they're going to try to keep the price of finger low until the next earnings report?
They can't keep it low. There's people I know that are buying positions. They keep trying to push it down. Just like the gentleman just said, he added more finger today. A lot of people are doing the same thing. So they keep, when they hit a bid and there's no one bidding at the time, when there's no buyer for 2 minutes, they'll drop the bids and offer 100 shares lower. That's all they do. There's nothing else. That's what they do. They just keep trying to mark it down. I just told you today's volume, it's 169, 130,000 of it's fake, 120,000 of it at least. 120,000 at 170. Just think about that. All fake. And I reported it every time they did it. I got to sit here like a big idiot reporting, yelling fire every day, and the regulators are not looking. Come on, I put it straight out there right to them. These guys deserve to be thrown in a cell. Once they grab these fuckers, they need to lock them up for life. Just like the guy, what's his name, William?
Bill Wong?
No, the guy Mendez, the political guy who got caught stealing gold bars or some shit. He was in tears, crying. I didn't mean to. Leniency. 11 years in jail. Take it easy. There's no more leniency. You're a crook. You're going to pay the price. Lynn Partners, they're crooks. The only reason they're still hanging around is because they're in the game, 90% in the game already, or 100% in the game. They can't get out. Listen, they murdered K&W within less than a year. I've only been following them 8 months, 9 months. They murdered them that fast.
So
if they're murdering that company that fast, they're trying to get their money out of here before something goes on. That's what I think they're trying to do. Close up these transactions.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I don't believe this happens, but Mike is asking why, when he puts an order in on finger to buy at the ask, they fill it on the bid. I doubt they fill it on the bid, but maybe.
Yeah, no, they do that because they're shorting it to you. They don't want it to trade up. They rather not have an uptick, meaning someone pay, it's 126 to 127. Buy me at 127, they sell it to you at 126. It's easy. What's the gentleman's name, Mike?
Mike, yeah.
Yeah, Mike, just think about it. Who wants less all the time? A crook. No one else wants less. When you go to sell your car and you want to sell it at 20,000, and I come in and bid, I want to bid you, 25,000. You go, no, I'll sell it to you at 16,000. You say, okay, thank you. Who wants less? Nobody. I can't think of any situation in life where somebody who's selling something wants less money. Complete nonsense.
Okay, let me see if there's anything. Skip lunch, buy 10 finger a day. Well, it's one.
I have to tell you a quick story about that. I went to see Bob Johnson of BET. I went to present him to do a financial news show and help minorities. Everyone who's uneducated about the stock market, if they learn to just put $5 or $1 or $10 a week into a stock and just buy one share at a time. And the stock that I pitched them on was Amazon. It was $10 back then. $10. I have no idea what it's worth today. But think about if you worked in wherever you worked and you were a minority making, $300 a week, and you said it just blowing $10 on a pack of cigarettes, you bought, one share. And after a while, you got 1,000 shares after a few years. And now where Amazon's at, you bought a house, you learned how to invest. You learned how to find a good stock or something to speculate on. And you learned everything about the stock market. Bob Johnson just got divorced from his wife, and he didn't give a flying shit about the minorities. He didn't care less. And I went in there with my friend Abernathy, and his uncle was Reverend Abernathy, Martin Luther King, and he couldn't believe Bob Johnson turned his back on everybody. He couldn't believe it. He didn't want to take any risk. He had no interest at the time. Nice guys. And he was worth billions.
How do you think he got worth billions?
Not risking money, that's for sure. He's like the guy from Robin Hood. He joined the other side and he didn't want to do anything. He didn't understand naked short selling, but I was selling him an idea. But still, they don't do anything. Any other questions?
Yeah, maybe. I just can't read them till I click them.
All right.
I'm on the minority side of money. What do you think the real short and the naked short trigger numbers are now? They were 230 and 360.
Yeah, listen, you don't understand. I try to tell people these numbers go down dramatically. You know, I leave out a lot of the cost to carry. You know, Morgan Lewis Sparkius is costing these guys a fortune. So that is like paying the mafia to protect you. That's what Morgan Lewis is. So these guys are getting eaten alive by their lawyers, their prime brokers, their cost to carry. Everything is eating these guys alive. So those numbers, which I reported before, they dropped dramatically. The guy at 220 something, that number's below $2. I'm being realistic about that. Okay, that number there. Plus, they've been trying to cover it down here, so they make $1 on this stock. They sold it. They bought it back. They bought 200,000 last week at 210. That's where they were short at. They broke even, and the last week they bought another 100,000 shares, 120,000. Let's say they made $1 on it or 80 cents. They made 80,000. They still got to cover back 1.2 million. The naked short number is dropping every day. The cost to carry is brutal on those numbers. Wall Street is getting rich off of these characters playing. Wall Street's not making money because they're that smart. They're just helping the criminals rob the bank, and they want their cut. That's all they're doing. Jeffries is not letting Lynn do financial fraud and not taking their cut. They know exactly what they're doing.
And it's repeatable.
I'm just saying, but they know, and they're sitting there saying, okay, guys, we know you're making $20 million. It's going to cost you $2.3 million. Pay to us. Otherwise, we buy you in. Here's the money. Take it easy. I would do the same thing, right? I'm going to steal 40. I'll give you 3. What's the big deal? You're my partner.
Yeah.
Will you protect us? No. We won't buy you in. But if the feds come knocking, we don't even know who you are. Because how do stocks get bought in? How did they get bought in? Obviously, not everyone has good friends, and they just buy them in. If you're the poor guy on the short team, they buy you in. That's how it works. I always tell the story. I had 3 guys short, like 100 a piece of some stock. I forgot what it was. It was Leon Cooperman, Marty Zweig, and Michael Steinhardt. And they called me up and said, listen, 2 of the guys got their stock recalled. You got to buy them in. You can't be short here. So I picked the client that paid me the most money. I let him stay short. The other 2, I told them they had to buy it in. They understood, and they got bought in, and I kept 1 guy short.
Leon Cooperman, I remember him.
I chose who I was going to buy in. I said that, don't buy in Michael, buy these 2 guys in. Why did I save Michael? Because he was paying me a lot of commission at the time. And I told him, he said, hey, the other two guys I had short the stock got bought in. I made sure you stayed. He said, oh, thank you very much. Here's another 100,000 to something else to sell. And that's how you get more order flow. Or make more money.
If everybody on the call bought 100 shares of Finger at the same time, would we make the stock move up?
Yes, but I don't want to get called for market manipulation, so I can't say do that. You know how they use the machine gun? If everybody waited, I'm just saying this, if everybody waited to 359 and just buy 100 shares, and let's say the stock is $1.30, you say buy 100 shares with $1.50 top, and it'd be like a machine gun. The stock, they'll just keep moving backwards. It'll go so fast, and basically, but it looks like manipulation. So that's why I won't tell anybody to do that.
Do you?
We're the bad guys if we want to break the shorts, but I can't. And if you put orders in at 359, your own brokerage firm will say, hey, you can't do that anymore. You can't manipulate the stock.
Do you have an opinion on why Cohen transferred his GME shares out of the market? Is he going to do something with the $4 billion? Could it be a long play?
I wrote it this morning. I said, well, listen, I don't know what exactly he's doing, but they have a serious following that'll believe anything he's going to do. And why did he move it? Did he move it for tax purposes? Did he do it for I don't know why he did it. But this morning I said with all the chatter about it, that it's worth the buy in the stock just for the hype up. And it went from 27.70 to 28 something, whatever it did. I don't know. If it was that earth-shattering, what he was doing, he should just come out there and say, I'm taking my shares out of the system. I'm going to get if he took a photo with him with his, 28 million shares, whatever he had, and took a picture of his stock certificate in his hand. Hold on one second. He took a picture of his stock certificate in his hand, meaning he removed it from the DTC. I think that would be pretty cool.
Right.
We can't take our stock out of the DTC because if you take it out, they won't let you put it back in.
Right.
So I would never advise that because we used to do that, and the DTC made it super expensive for all of us to get the shares out of the system again. Hold on one second. William, he caught me again, the shareholder. He's following me. I have to get rid of him now.
Does he have a gun?
William, hey, William.
Hey, how are you? You're live.
He knows he's live. I don't want to keep him on the call. Hold on one second.
We're holding. We're holding. We're holding. We're holding. We're holding. I'm holding. All right, so let's talk about something else. He's gone.
I'm not going. I'll be right with you.
All right. Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on? Could it be a faded rose from days gone by? And did I hear you say you would be leaving here today?
Paulie, your buddy says hi again. So again, listen, William, give me 1 minute. I'll be right with you.
I've got all the time in the world. Forget what I was saying. I was talking about something that I had to end in the middle of the sentence. Hey, Ziggy. I'm not reading out because I can't really read right now. Next time I'll be better. I mean, it can when they're over there, but you sold 300 profit. Good for you. Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. Hey, Red Pepper Ronnie. We have all the time in the world. End of the month markdown. Yep. I agree with that. I can't read that one. It's a lot of symbols. He told me my vision is 20/40 now in my eye. He said, you don't have a tear, you don't have an infection, you don't have bleeding, internal bleeding, you don't have swelling. And I said, and I don't have vision either. He said, no, fair joke, fair joke, fair joke, he said. Frank Boyle, bankers are looting the world. You're not in the middle of a recession. You're in the middle of a robbery. I like that. You know, I don't know if it'll be XRP or if it'll be one of these others, but there's a coin out there, which I remember it being called Luna. I could be wrong. That would basically do away with Goldman Sachs as an investment banking intermediary, or the necessity of them. Wouldn't that be great? That's a good idea for subscribers only. Maybe I could do that, but they would just subscribe. Hey, Eddie. Hey, Ricky. I'll say hi to Lucky up in heaven. Oh my gosh. The tattooed chief delisted. They kill them all. They kill them all. CNN had the story 6 hours before.
Thanks, William. I'm sorry. I'm back. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's close
Actually,
this up.
we're sorry you're back. Just kidding.
I won't stay much longer because
you can stay as long as you want. I'm just kidding.
Right.
I'm just kidding. This guy just said the CNN had the helicopter crash story 6 hours before it happened. I find it hard to believe.
Well, I had the I had the K&W story before it happened. I had I could tell you about finger motion and the naked short selling I told you before it happened, right? I told everybody. Listen, that's a horrible situation.
It's just terrible.
Four people on a plane going someplace, and it just, we all
they're so young. They're peak of their athletic careers. Just
terrible. Anyway, let me recap everything so I can get the hell off and go on with my day, because it's obviously the gentleman that I just bumped into told me because he bumped into me, he bought another 5,000 finger. And I said, good luck, best of luck. And he just felt like it was destiny that he do it. So he jumped in. And so it's all good. I think all the stuff is coming out. We all know what it is. There's not much more to hide here anymore, except some new contracts we don't know about. But the financials will come out. The end of the year is February, William. Is that what we said? I forgot the number.
Yeah.
Was it? So the end of the year is coming up. We'll get started getting those numbers on the installations of these trucks. Hopefully the company gets some more news out there. The company said they're working on other deals. We got the big data business coming out, getting around. We're getting closer to that with Munich Re. It's all right there. The dividend, as soon as the audit's done. He said the audit was going to be done in mid-December. We're at the end of January. I don't think the CEO, I think the company and the CEO are probably pretty angry about what their auditors, what they're saying. And so I expect a push rather sooner than later from the company. So we'll sit there and wait on that. What else we got, William? MLSS, I sold it. CJYL, GDC. When I hear something, I will definitely tell you about it. I told you MLSS, I sold it $1.30. And what else? I have the GBUX. I'm hearing great things about this GBUX. Again, I hear it's going to be a stock of 2025. I can't advise you to buy it. I paid for it. I got my friends buying it. If you bought one share just to watch it and pay attention, always buying one share, even if you hate the company, you don't like what we're talking about, learn how and see how. Let's see if the smart ass people from Wall Street have good information. Let's see if we're right. Just buy one share. I don't know. You don't have to buy a zillion of them. I would never advise anybody to do that. Do your own homework. I hear the company was filing to be uplisted. I hear they got approval. We're waiting for it to come out. We're hearing there's big deals in the works. It's coming out of Goldman Sachs. If you got to contact the Goldman Sachs, call them and get it from them. They're telling people, and we're getting the information back. All right? So I'm hearing it goes rather sooner than later. There's a short in here, about 400,000 shares. I don't think it's a big short. I think it's a small one. I think when he folds, the stock could go from here. It could go to $5, and then it'll go from there. It's not going to be 100 points. I'm not here for a short squeeze. It just happens that they're manipulating the stock, and we're watching it, and I just reported it. Finger motion is where I really live. All this other stuff is things to talk about while we're waiting for finger motion to happen. I don't own a zillion shares. I think I have 12,000 GBUX. I don't have a zillion of them, and that's just the way it is. All right, William, anything else? Go get the stitches out of your eye.
I got that. That was, torture.
All right, well, I don't want to hear. We don't want to hear that.
They enjoyed torturing me.
All right. Anyway, listen, everybody. I'm going to jump off. I got my family with me, so I'm going to go join with them. I bumped into the shareholder again. I can't believe it. He's following me, and that means that I'm bumping into Paulie from Orlando again.
We're all following you.
Follow Paulie. He knows more than anybody now. All right, Paulie's buddy is grilling me, and what I tell you, I told him is the same stuff. So, and he bought 5,000 more shares. He just told me 3 minutes ago. So,
all right.
Anyway, listen, let me run. William, thank you again, everybody.
Thank you.
You know everything I know, and again, I'm not chasing every story in the world. Don't fall for those big fake volume stocks. Christian Shaughnessy has been putting up, and the guy Pete from Philly puts it up every day. He wants to know, Hester Pierce, how do you miss all these 40 million share days or 50 million share days? Anyway, listen, everyone, I have to run, and have a great day. We'll speak later. Thank you.
All right.
Call ended.
Somebody just brought up another stock. I'm going to skip over it. Yes. That stock was hard to read here, $75 2 years ago, totally destroyed. Went down to 10. It rallied just like it's rallying now. And then it gapped down, probably of financing. And then it went down to 4. And then it collapsed under 50 cents. And now it's rallying back up, and that guy wants to distract you. Why? He's a short. He is a short. They come on with these stock ideas. They short it down, short it down, short it down, short it down. There's the ones that move it offshore, and there's the other scumbags that sit in an office with a bunch of their friends eating deli sandwiches, maybe, and they see these stocks go up, they start selling it, and they want you to buy, so there's some meat on the bones, so when they drive it down, they can make their $1,000 a day or their 10 grand in 2 weeks. Just stop falling for it. And, you know, if it's a great story, they're going to just short it down anyway. They're just going to short it down anyway. So I'm not going to focus on it. Yeah, 4 trillion marks. And that took, that's in the appendix. And that took from 1914, which was the outbreak of World War One, until the end of 1923. So basically 6 years, 5, 6 years. And that's the collapse of the paper currency. And they just kept printing. You know, everybody wanted the social services. Bernie Sanders, are you going to deny Medicaid to the children of this country? Okay, fine. I'm not, but at some point you're spending too much money. It was George W. Bush who gave big tax cuts and launched a war against the world. Well, he said it was just against the terrorists. So we went from, I think, 3 trillion. We're now at 36 trillion in debt. I mean, that's what's going to happen. As a country, we're not going to want to cut anything. And I mean, Social Security, I think most of the voters are on Social Security. That's not going to get cut. That's what'll happen. They won't cut Social Security. But let's say you get $1,500 a month on Social Security right now, and it pays for your, let's say it pays for your rent and your health insurance, your Medicare, maybe, I don't know. In 10 years, you'll get $1,500, but it might buy a carton of eggs. That's an extreme example, but I don't know about Kramer or Easton, but I imagine there's players out here who do short stocks that go up, and they figure if we're buying, we're a finite amount of money. I don't know. I think a lot of you have purchased Railtown AI, but if I said 1 million shares, that's probably low. So let's just pretend we bought 5 million shares of Railtown Railtown AI amongst us. Well, it's $1.5 million. I know that might be high. Well, they figure we'll be done. All they have to do is keep selling, and it'll roll over. And Ann Wagner is here to protect your privacy. Remember that. They have algorithms to track whether or not you donate to Black Lives Matter or not, but she wants to protect your privacy. That's Ann Wagner. You're the ones that love her. I don't. Hey, John, how are you? I saw that platinum and palladium are both above 1,000. Let's look that up. Gold. Oh, I wanted to talk about that. Let's see if we can find the article. All right, so gold is almost $2,800. Silver is $32. There ain't no sunshine when she's gone. There ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And she's gone away. Platinum, Platinum is $969. Are you out of your mind? $969. Are you out of your mind is platinum. And palladium is $990. Too bad it's not $999 out of its mind. So those are those prices. Let me see if I can. I'm not going to stay on too much longer, I hope, because I got some things to do. There ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's gone away. Nationals release Joe La Sorsa. It's going to be tough on the Nationals to get through a season without Joe La Sorsa. All right, I just want to LBME gold delivery. There ain't no LBMA. All right. LBMA, London Bullion Market. I thought it was E, but whatever. Okay, Reuters, 19 hours ago. Let's go with Reuters, Mike. Let's go with Reuters, Mike. You all right? You all right? All right, now let me do it this way. All right. Now let me do it this way. Okay. All right, London gold market queues up to borrow central bank gold after big shipments to the United States, sources say. Do you remember I think it might have been yesterday, I told you, I thought the pressure was going to come. I might have said LBME instead of LBMA. But I thought it was an exchange, not an A, but whatever. Well, here the news came out. London bullion market players are racing to borrow gold from central banks. And it's only going to be from the Western central banks, not from Asia, not from Eurasia, not from the Middle East, I don't think, and probably not from Africa or South America. It'll just be from the same idiots, Canada, UK, France, United States, Australia. London bullion market players are racing to borrow gold from central banks who store bullion in London, following a surge in gold deliveries to the United States on the speculation of Trump tariffs. The minimum waiting time to load gold out of the Bank of England, which stores gold for central banks, has reached 4 weeks. In normal times, the release time is in a few days or a week. The Bank of England declined to comment when asked about the waiting list. The United States President Donald Trump has not mentioned precious metals in his tariff plans, but the risk has been enough to boost gold deliveries to New York as part of the market sought to hedge its positions on the US COMEX. London is home to the world's largest over-the-counter trading hub, where market players trade directly with each other rather than via an exchange. The key with the Bank of England is they are not a commercial vault, so are not prepared to handle the onslaught of gold borrowing banks making requests of the central banks, said Robert Gottlieb, industry expert. The size of the so-called local London free float, never heard of that. The location, the local London free float, or the amount of gold readily available in London on the over-the-counter market, has fallen. Over the last 2 months, 12.2 million troy ounces of gold were delivered to COMEX-approved warehouses. Reports of the flow of gold to New York attracted attention of Parliament. We are not in the gold standard anymore. It doesn't have any significance for policy in that sense, said Bailey. However, London remained a major gold market, and if you want to be involved in that market, you want to trade and use your gold, you really need to have it in London. Deliveries to the United States left less free float metal in London vaults. They're in dreamland. The metal that is not owned by central banks or in physically backed gold exchange traded funds is the free float metal. This in turn boosted demand from players in London who are ready to lease their gold and make it available to the OTC market. Liquidity challenges in other large trading hubs are less pronounced. That's good. That's good for those of you who want to buy gold, but they are being felt. This is written by Paulina DeWitt, a correspondent with Reuters. Oh, sorry. All right, let me see. Platinum is cheap, rarer than gold, and historically costs more than gold. Okay, so it's platinum we should focus on. I always get a little confused. But okay, I like that idea. What's my target? My target price for finger? Tomorrow and next week. Well, let's look instead of guessing. Not that I know. Not that I know. Hey la di la di la di. I met her in old Mexico. All right, so let's look at FMGR. So it's broken. Let me get my little. It's taken a while. It's broken. Oh gosh, it's broken below the moving average, which isn't great. but it's probably not the end of the world. This was the breakout roughly. So it's normal to push and then pull back. Is there support in this area? Maybe. Maybe. That's what I'll say. I'll say that the likelihood is this is support right where it's trading. But having said that, you could see it trade down here to $1.20 or here just to test the resistance. Nothing is guaranteed, but I'll say that this is pretty much support. They'll keep pressuring it. What do I see? That's for tomorrow. What do I see next week? I would guess this would bounce around a little bit, but if this line holds 140, and I'd say this is where you're headed, 155. And by that time, the moving average line will be resistance. That's where I think it's going to go. 155, 150. Any research report, I think that's the target. There's this huge gap here from I guess you want to count it from just under $2. So that could be your next target if it really broke through. Is Synchrony Financial, probably, with a name like that. But I don't know. AKYP. 2040 is good enough to derive. That's good news. I've got that going for me. He said he wants to go in with a laser. I said, I think I'll live with my. Oops, there it is. Oops. All right, let's just check. I've started. There's palladium. All right, I want to just check, see if there's any news. And I may sign out just because I have things that I'm getting nervous about that I have to get done. American Airlines CEO heartbroken. UPS is slashing Amazon volume. Ooh, that's not good. OpenAI in talks for investment round, valuing OpenAI at $340 billion. Blackstone in talks to buy stake in New York office building. You buy when there's blood in the streets. Blackstone and BlackRock and all those guys, they'll be buying up at Los Angeles property and building high density condominiums, in my opinion. Snowflake CEO, DeepSeek is legitimate. More OpenAI rivals coming. I met her in old Mexico. All right, let's see what else. No, nothing. Let's see if there's anything. Happening in the committees. There's no real, there don't seem to be any takeaways from today's, oh, here. Now, it's a quiet day. There's not much going on. So I think I might just sign out. We can check the last price of finger motion, 127, 126 to 127. I know it's not exciting, but I think that's going to go up a quarter, probably pretty short period of time. Next trip is 676, DJT 3158. G-Bucks is up 21 cents, 148 G-Bucks. Nvidia's down $1.45 at 122. Somebody told me that wouldn't know. I don't think they know for sure, but I'm hearing there might be news on Logic very soon. If it's good, it'll probably be next week. If it's bad, it'll probably be tomorrow. We'll find out. So anyway, let me see. Came in late. Thoughts on Nixie? I think Nixie, time can have an effect on any trade, but I think Nixie at these prices, let me see where it is worth a speculation. Yeah, I got kind of cautious on it. I don't like this, whatever this Bitcoin convertible note really means. It might be good, it might be bad. I can't figure it out. The stock has come back pretty much to its long-term trend line, or at least its many-month trend line. So it's a much more attractive place to buy it than it was over the last month or so. I do think it has the ingredients, and it's another one of these stocks. I mean, it used to be recruiter.com that just got destroyed by the criminals. It does have the ingredients for a big move. It's speculative though, so I wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. But yeah, I like Nixie as a punt. All right, so it's I'm going to close at 3:00. Let's just see how Railtown is trading. Railtown has a wide spread, big enough for Senator Craig, but it's 0.293 to 0.311. My guess, you could buy it right in the middle, basically at 0.30, maybe a little higher than that. And finger right now is 127. So if somebody has something, came in late. Oh, sorry. I Nixie, like several of these companies, is basically a story on there's a fundamental side where the company announced what they're doing. And I bet that news will come out on that. Further news will come out on that. But they also projected what they're going to try to do over, I think, 2 to 3 years. My suspicion is a lot of these companies make those announcements. If that kind of information is just made up out of whole cloth, they get in trouble. So my guess is a lot of that activity will happen more quickly. And so anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw good news on Nixie. And then, buying to follow. But I do think we don't know the fundamentals yet. We know part of it. They're acquiring this company, $10 million last year, $4 million profit. They want to grow to $1 billion company. So we know some of it, but as the news comes out, we'll know more. If it gets good, the price will be higher. So you have to gamble a little bit if you want to be in it. But I think it looks like a good entry point for speculative capital, and obviously that's not financial advice. All right, I'm going to sign off. Thank you. Those 70 people are all in our prayers, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'll try to come on tomorrow, and thank you again. Cheers.